like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Welcome back to the VHS Vault. I am one of your hosts, VHS Jace. Next to me, of course, is the wise and all-powerful Jason Roy Gaston. I laughed as I said that because I wasn't even buying it as it was coming out of my mouth.
I was going to say, I don't know who the hell you're talking about, but I'm here.
All right, Jace, we're back in the Star Wars universe for our retrospectives. That's a new word. I just made it up. The retrospective series that we're doing on Star Wars films.
Retrospective, yes.
Yep. And we've gone back 24 years. 24 years we're going back. I just want to put that out there because that's how old this film is. 2002, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
This is certainly a movie, yes.
Certainly a film that was impacted on the critical response of the first one.
Yes.
And let's put that out there, you know, the mixed reaction to Episode 1, which our review is up, and we liked it more than most of the critics, I think, at that time.
I enjoy it very much, yes.
So certainly there are some changes that were made throughout this, and number one being the Jar Jar.
Yes.
Certainly Jar Jar really cops it in this one.
There is a reduction in the Bombad Gungan in this film, which, again, if you caught our Phantom Menace review, I'm just going to quickly recap. I completely buy into the Jar Jar as a Sith conspiracy. I really do think that was George Lucas's original plan. I think Jar Jar was supposed to be the Count Dooku character, and I think he chickened out and robbed us of one of the greatest twists in the history of anything ever, because I honestly don't think anybody would have seen it coming.
Not only going to reduce you as a character, we're going to make you the one responsible, basically, for all this.
Oh my gosh! And he thought he was doing a good thing too. Poor guy.
He was so proud of himself at the moment.
Proud of himself. Look at I'm doing good.
All right. Well, obviously, we both saw this at the cinemas. We can't say we didn't. We would have seen this. I'm just assuming you rushed opening weekend to see this.
I did. I saw it opening weekend. Yes.
Yep. Me too. All right. Let's just kind of get into what doesn't work in this film, because I think there's a lot to kind of love, but let's look at what doesn't work. And the big open gashing wound of this whole film, and I think even after 24 years it's still there, it's the romance.
The romance is it applies it doesn't apply the brake, it slams on the brakes every single time the movie devotes any amount of time to the romance in this movie. I'm just gonna go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and say this is the first Star Wars film that I ever watched that I didn't like.
Wow.
And it's primarily
I will
romance. And I do want to say, I do not put that at the feet of Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen. I do not do that. I know a lot of people like to crap on Hayden. I think he's a perfectly fine actor whenever he's given good dialogue. I don't think anybody could have made his dialogue good. I mean, I don't like sand. It's rough and Carson gets everywhere. That's why Darth Vader killed Aunt Beru and Uncle Owens, because he had to go back to Tatooine. He was like, I told you I don't like sand.
Well,
yeah, I didn't like it. I was bored. I think that's it. It's just boring to me. It's a boring movie. Even whenever the crap hits the fan at the end and all the Jedi come out, by then it's just like watching bugs in a windshield.
Well, I will say, with Hayden Christensen's role in this, it is rough. And again, by this point, if you recorded a line of dialogue, 6 months later, the response would have been filmed on a green screen. And that's how it's getting mashed together. So this film does feel odd because this is George Lucas experimenting with editing, which I'm not trying to say that as an excuse. I'm saying that as a detriment to the film. You want to play around with stuff like that? Do that prior to actually putting this film together. That does stand out. Yes, the romance is horrible. It is absolutely. It is the death nail. It drops every time. And the weird thing is why I think the romance doesn't work so well is the choices they did with Hayden. Hayden just comes across. And I'm telling you, Jason, we've all known dudes like this. He comes off that creepy, stalkery, hanging around. Like, you know, you meet him in real life and you get a bad vibe instantly. Your radar goes up. This guy's a creep.
We're not talking about Hayden the actor, by the way.
No, we're talking about the choices of how George wanted to show Anakin on screen. He made Anakin predatory in this.
He did.
And it doesn't work. And the other reason it doesn't work is because the question always is, Padme, what did you fall in love with him about? Because you showed us no reason for you as a character to go, I love him. Because he rode a space cow and fell off, that isn't reason enough to, you know, for us as the audience to buy in. I mean, didn't you watch your mates film Titanic? Like that's the template if you're going to do romance, right? And what you don't go that way, and it is horrific.
Yeah,
you know?
it's almost filmed like, oh, is this Annie? Is this the little 8-year-old kid that I knew 10 years ago? My God, you've gotten so big.
Yeah,
that's almost what it. In a way, it Padme almost comes.
But that line delivery always comes off to me as she was being dismissive and putting him down. You know what I mean? So I never felt like that was her lusting after him at all.
Then, of course, that is followed up by, "You have grown as well, more beautiful."
I mean, like, yeah, the power of cinema.
He's pressing the panic button under her desk.
I'm cringing so much. I also think there are some really strange choices beside the romance for some of these characters. Obi-Wan, who I love, and I love his story in this, and I'm going to get into what I do, but I can't get past that bad wig and fake beard for the life of me. It is as jarring as the romance in some ways. Like, it's bad. Like, it's a bad choice. Like,
I definitely enjoyed the Obi-Wan. Would you call it the side plot or the B plot? I'm going to call it the main plot. I definitely enjoyed his journey in this movie a lot more.
It's a detective story.
Yeah,
essentially.
Even then, it's just filmed so boring. I'm just thinking every single establishing shot is a wide shot that slowly zooms in. And it just seems like everyone, everywhere in this movie is trapped.
Every camera is bolted to the floor.
Yeah, they're trapped in a small space that George Lucas makes look huge. So as a result, everybody is just kind of, I don't know, they feel trapped in a box that we can't see. And nobody runs anywhere. Everybody just lightly jogs. It's almost like watching a stage production in some ways, because that's what it is. It's people pretending in a box theater that just happens to be painted green.
Okay, so remember what we were saying in the last movie that every kind of Star Wars film, especially from now, there's this thing to bring in a new ability for the Jedi, so we get a new ability.
Yes.
And this one has to be just falling out of cars thousands of kilometers in the air and being able to time it so perfectly that you land on a car that's coming. Like, their ability to read traffic is their new ability in this film.
And, you know, you can do all the mental calculations in your head, and that's just fine. But what if the car swerves at the last minute to miss a bird?
It's then you go, really? Yeah. Like, why did you need to do that in the scene? The actual cars themselves was good enough. You had that going. I didn't mind that element of it.
Why dive out of the car? Just take the car and go, meow. That way, if you miss, you can go, meow.
Yeah, you got another chance at it, haven't you? So, yeah, it is spectacularly looking. You know,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love
like,
the car chase. The car chase is fun, and I love the
yeah,
soundtrack.
yeah,
I love that part. It's so great. It's like Back to the Future if Marty and Doc were like chasing someone. That was great.
I don't mind most of Obi-Wan in that scene, but at the end, I'm going, enough of the quips, mate. You aren't doing 5. You know, you aren't at an open mic here, buddy. Doing your best 5 minutes.
I did like, oh, one of these days, Anakin, you're going to be the death of me. I loved that
That's
line.
a good one.
That was a good one. And I
That's a good one.
do like when Anakin lost his lightsaber while he was on top of that car, and
Yeah.
Obi-Wan just driving behind him just goes and catches it. I love
That's very forced. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. However, even though that's a great scene, we get to go to the underbelly of Coruscant, which I was always keen on. I like to see the ground floor because we, you know, in the first film you don't really go to the you know, you don't really hit Earth.
You don't really go to Bourbon Street.
That's
they go
right.
To Bourbon
that's
Street.
right.
They go to
However,
Times Square. If Times Square of the 1980s.
Exactly. However, they have a little chase scene which should be, as we said last episode, what happened to their speedrun ability? They should have been able to jump at that car, boom, got zammed straight away.
Yeah. Well, they forgot.
Same with the end of this film too. When they're in there, I'm going to save it for later, but they're in that Coliseum, you've got all these Jedi fighting. Why aren't they all zipping around at hyperspeed, just nailing everybody? Wouldn't have that been awesome?
It would have been, yeah. It would
have been. Yeah. But that's ability.
It's
yeah.
exhausting to watch, though. That would have been just like, wait, where did Samuel Jackson
It's
go?
a bit like that anyway. It's a bit like that anyway.
Yeah. That would have been kind of funny. Is just like all of the aliens and Count Dooku up there in the balcony, just trying to watch them all going. Where did Samuel L. Jackson go? And he jumps up and surprise MF. That would have been amazing.
You can tell they've turned up the action. They have from the last one. They've put a lot more action into this one. But it doesn't help when the underbelly is politics because you've replaced tariffs and taxes with politics in this film. Heavy politics. And, I'm kind of pseudo interested in the idea of this. I want to know what happened in that time. I just don't know. It always feels so un-Star Wars like in this film. Every time political chatter is happening, it takes away from the film rather than add to it. Although I think the subject matter is interesting as an older person, but it just doesn't seem to blend. I'm interested on it'd be, to me, it's like watching a World War II doco. How did that happen? Like, how did he get into power? Like, I like that idea of it. Maybe just not the execution in the films.
And more importantly, who cares? That's where I'm at right now. I really needed like 1 or 2 scenes, like, let's give him uncontrollable power. Yeah. And everybody goes,
that's pretty
let's listen to that thing. Look at it there. It's funny. But
if you're a kid, you really got to pay attention to this film because there are some things that happen in this film that I think for a kid, maybe just a little bit above their head, just trying to figure out everything, the way the politics work. The fact that they hired someone 10 years ago, a character we'd never heard of before.
Yes.
To sanction the building of a droid army for a clone army.
That is one thing in this movie that I actually have a major problem with, and that is it pulls characters out of its butt for the sake of convenience that we've never heard of before, and then they turn out to be super important. And I'm just like, George, you wrote these movies. Why don't you like give us some clues earlier? Like, Sypha Dyas, great. Who is that? Who is
Qui-Gon Jinn maybe in the last movie going, oh, my old master, Count Dooku.
My old master, Sypha Dyas. I don't know where he is, but I will find him, and I will kill him.
Count Dookie.
Yeah, and I do have to say, George, the fact that you got Christopher Lee and gave him a name that sounds so close to Dookie, I actually respect that because I would be terrified of the man. The man has been gone for years, at this point, and I'm still terrified I'm going to open up my closet door and he'll be in there going, "Hello." Oh my God.
I was so happy for him in this period, because in this period, he's in this, and he's also, in Lord of the Rings. His career was on fire at this point.
Yes, it was. It was on fire, the way everything ignites that displeases him.
Yes, absolutely.
The
other thing,
Mr. Lee, I have a rewritten script here. Burst into flames. No, you do not.
I've never, in any of the Star Wars, thought I would ever say this. Actually, there is a film later on we'll talk about where there's an action scene that displeases me. But there's an action scene in this film that I hate beyond a joke. It's the Droid Factory.
Oh my God! It's Tom and Jerry, and it's cringe. It's cringe from beginning to end.
Unbelievable! It is just so cartoonishly timed.
It's the crushing sequence from Galaxy Quest taken seriously.
Taken seriously, I agree, and it's just done bad. It's just unnecessary. It's and I think the worst part is, C-3PO. I love you, but oh boy, your role in this movie adds to the cringe so much, and it's not your fault, Anthony.
No,
we love you as C-3PO, but when you're just ahead and you're being pulled and it's a drag, I'm checking out at this point with these lines.
Are droid heads like plug and play? Is that how they work? I mean,
they gotta be right. They gotta be
like Lego minifigs. And they just work perfectly. Don't even matter if it's a different model. It's just I don't get it, George.
Yeah,
it's almost like he wrote that scene in the script thinking this is gonna look great in the video game.
It's such I know it was filmed in 4.5 hours, and you can tell. And it was added in after they'd already done test screenings, because it was so it is a nonsensical stop you in the track, because it doesn't even narratively make any sense or motivate the story forward in any way.
Not at all.
It's just another thing I think it's bad conceptually with this film is the Geonosians being the ones who designed the Death Star.
Yeah, why? I don't get it. Why?
I don't know why.
And there is absolutely almost zero technology on their planet. It's like,
that's right. They live in holes.
Yeah, it's like giving Neanderthals, here's some money. Now design us a tank.
That's it.
They start hitting rocks with sticks. I don't get it.
No, and that's right. It doesn't make sense. How do you make this the ultimate weapon, this terrifying thing that's also technologically so advanced? Yeah, and you're living in, that, like you said, it's like cavemen and hitting a rock, and then all of a sudden they've made a Tesla.
Which I know some people are going to argue, well, they didn't really build the Death Star. They just made the plans. Great. Where was the rest of their technology if they're so good at that? And the thing that makes me upset is that they had the perfect villains to make the Death Star right there in the movie, and they gave them one line. It was the Technology Guild. Yes. Why did they not create the Death Star plans? You could have easily had the Geonosians working for the Technology Guild.
Yeah. So that's a little bit annoying for sure.
It's super
annoying. There's the biggest problem is that this film also, in a way, is a transitional film. This film only exists really to get us to the place where even George wants to get to and the audience wants to get to, is episode 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know how they have those fan edits? And they what's his name? He was in Predators, that 70s show. He's known for making his Star Wars edits.
Oh my God.
Actor, the main kid.
Is it Topher
Grace? Yes. Topher Grace. Grace. Yeah. Now, he's known for doing a pretty comprehensive re-edit of the trilogy, and a lot of what gets cut out is in this film. In episode 1, he slashes a lot of this film out, because you have to ask yourself, what are we trying to say here? So with this film, we're trying to say Anakin falls in love with Padme, and we've got to show that. And then we've also got to show how Palpatine got himself into power.
Yeah. Could have been done in 15 minutes.
Kind of could have, you know. I also think is the clone scenario, which I love the idea of that. I love the idea they accelerate growth. I love anything on Camino. I'm a big fan of the Camino scenes in this film. I love the aliens. I love their grace.
The
The fight scene with Django. Sorry?
Yeah. The Kaminoans were so cool looking. And this is something that people don't get because they talk about, oh yeah, green screen, CGI. It's nothing but green screens and CGI. Did you know that all the interiors on the Kaminoan sea base, I guess you'd call it, those were all miniatures.
Huh.
Every single one of them were made in miniature. And then they
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so they were actual physical sets.
That's cool.
Now, I'm also going to say, speaking of Django Unchained, the sound effect of Slave One dropping that mine, everything goes quiet, and then it just dong. That is the coolest. That is the coolest sound effect in Star Wars ever. Like I want that on my I want that on my Spotify playlist just to play that sound. I want my car horn to make that sound. Boom! And it's so cool because you could tell it was made with an electric guitar.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
It is very cool. Now we rewind back that because I will defend Jango Fett as a character in this film, only because he's a good bounty hunter. He and the actor Tamura Morrison we love, absolutely great. And that scene between him and Obi-Wan when they first meet, when he goes to his quarters, really great. These are two actors that were having a bit of fun here. There's a lot of tension there. A great little fight we have outside on the landing before they're trying to go, which I absolutely love. First time we kind of got to see a Mandalorian armor kind of fight.
Yeah.
A proper fight. I mean, we get lots of it in The Mandalorian later on, but at this point, it's the first time we see him shoot a missile off. There's a great fight on that landing. And then that really great chase scene in the asteroid field. Well, it's that, and there's this great shot of when he's firing at Ewan McGregor and the Jedi Starfighter, and the Slave One's like turning and he's firing at the same.
Yeah, it's so great,
gorgeous. So great. It's gorgeous. It's a wonderful scene, and it's a very cool scene too because Boba Fett learns a lesson in that scene. He learns how to make sure that he learns the trick of hiding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
because he sees Obi-Wan do it, and so he remembers that, and then we get a nice little payoff in Empire Strikes Back with that.
I'm going to remember that one. Yes, I will.
Yes. Well, that's how he kind of shot it with that. So that's all great. Now, okay, another good thing, I think, the battle. The moment they get out of the arena at the end of this film, I do like it quite a lot. It's pretty great. It is pretty great. I do like the scale of it because it's a big reveal in the film. When you first see it the first time, you think, okay, it's all just happening in this arena. And then when you go up with the gunship, you see how expansive actually it is. I'm a fan of that. I'm even a fan of this movie. Keep it going. I really like the lightsaber duels in this. That's what I'm getting to. It's really the point where I should stand up and throw something at the television, but I will stand by the Yoda fight sequence for as long as I can. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious, but it's glorious at the same time.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with most of what you just said. Respectfully.
Please do.
Respectfully and disrespectfully. I really think that this movie goes a long way into demystifying the Legend of the Jedi. I really do.
Explain.
And I'm usually against that kind of speak, but to me, before this movie, the Jedi were just this legendary force, and they were just cool. And just seeing them in a battle, to me, demystifies them. It makes them just like, no, they're just a big special effect. I don't think that the battle sequence inside the stadium was really that well done. We got another Fett going out like a punk again. He probably should have quit while he was ahead. And then the battle scene, to me, just
I'll let you have that one.
it becomes static. It just becomes, as I said earlier, it's like watching bugs hit a windshield after a while. And
I don't mind it.
now,
I think it definitely still stands.
whenever the conflict becomes personal again, whenever it's Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Dooku, that's when it becomes interesting to me. One, I like that there's this great shot in there, first of all, whenever Anakin is fighting Dooku, that the lights are off and Anakin's got two sabers and they're both a different color and they're lighting his face in two different colors. That is such a thing. And I'm also going to stand shoulder to shoulder with you and say that, the Yoda lightsaber fight was pretty neat. And I know everybody's like, it looks stupid. Okay. But Yoda's
part of it.
His entire life was, judge me by my size, do you? And that's what Dooku did. He judged Yoda by his size. Probably shouldn't have, because he should have known better. But come on. When Yoda opens up his robe and his lightsaber flies off his belt and into his hand, and he ignites that saber, the theater went nuts.
I went insane.
Went knucking futs. They loved it. And then it was not until a couple of weeks later that the internet nerds came out and said, it was stupid.
Yeah, but it was
everything's joyful.
It was such a surprise, though, just because at that time it would have been the last thing you were expecting. When you're watching a Star Wars film, to see Yoda do that, you would not expect it in a million years. So that's why it was so awesome.
See, and to me, it's so strange because I said that the Colosseum fight demystified the Jedi, but to me, Yoda's duel with Dooku confirmed why he was a legend. And I think it was because it was such a personal, intimate battle between the two of them. But to see Yoda just spinning like a friggin' Beyblade around Dooku,
He was too.
Just besting him at every single. And I'm sorry, Yoda would have totally cut Dooku's head off if Dooku had not cheated at the end. If Yoda had been a little bit colder and thought, you know what, crush him, I don't care. Yeah, Yoda would have totally won that fight.
Hey, Anakin's arm getting cut off was a big surprise too in that scene.
The Skywalker family's got a big problem with getting there.
They have. They can't keep their limbs together. But it was a surprise because it wasn't just his hand, dude. It was his arm.
Yeah. There is another great moment after that Yoda fight, and that is whenever he's done. He disengages his saber, he puts it back, and then he uses the Force to like draw his cane to him. He goes, and he just goes back to being Yoda again. I'm like, you
love
faker, you absolute faker, you absolute scoundrel. Han has got nothing on you.
What's really interesting, though, and I think a flaw of the Jedi in this film is, and it drove me nuts the other night when I was rewatching it, is like, you're so anti like war and things like that, and you're saying, well, we're not the police, but at the same time, you're anti the concept of the army. Soon as you've applied any pressure, you completely embrace the army.
Oh, yeah.
So Yoda goes, look, I'm going to go and check out what's going on at Geonosis. Next thing we see, he's got the army with him. And the other thing is, all the Jedis, everyone seems to know where they land hierarchically with this army. Everyone knows that now a commander, and they've got these. There's a lot of convenience that automatically it just happened for them with the creation of the clone army.
Yeah, it was all for show, I guess. But yeah, it's. I guess that is my big deal. Whenever the conflict becomes personal and intimate, the movie works. Whenever it's large scale, to me, it doesn't work. The fight between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan works. The chase in the asteroid field between them works. Yoda versus Dooku works. Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan works. Everything else is just static and almost meaningless.
I think Geonosians were a poor choice.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I don't think they were the right kind of species to do that. Yeah, and I think from a visual perspective too. I remember when I first saw the film, there were scenes where Anakin and Padme were on Tatooine, and that was the time that Obi-Wan had landed on Geonosia, and they were cutting between those two locations, and there were times that I had to keep up because they looked Tatooine and Geonosia kind of, not that different environment wise. So there was nothing special about Geonosis 2, which is the first time in a Star Wars film we didn't land on an environment where it kind of had its own significant identity. Because that's the thing about Star Wars. Each planet has its own visual identity that we automatically can associate with.
I disagree. I think that Kaminoa was visually different. I think that
I'm saying Genosha wasn't.
you keep calling it Genosha.
Absolutely.
You keep calling it Genosha like Magneto's gonna go.
Yes, I am. Yeah, sorry. What's it called then? Geonosia?
Geonosis.
Geonosis.
Yeah.
Hey man, the X-Men could have.
I've got you.
They would have done a lot to this movie. The X-Men would have raised it up a little bit.
Yeah, it was great.
But yes, that planet isn't different enough. Kamino is amazing. Kamino is gorgeous, and even reusing Coruscant but making it more nighttime focused, brilliant choice.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it gave it a whole different visual spin. It just seemed that planet itself wasn't, something kind of sticking out. And that's where their first major battle is, on that planet, which is like, oh, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I don't know. It just seems like the planetary biosphere game got raised by Avatar, and now we just expect more. And who knows? Maybe
in the third film, Jace, they come up with some really cool environments as well.
Yeah,
it's not like they stop doing it. Like they keep going, making these. Even the Force Awakens, when we get to that, has some really interesting planetary.
I'm just saying. I think
that's fair. That's fair.
I think it raised our expectations.
No, you are right. Absolutely. After 2009, I mean, if you're going to make an environment, that's the standard you got to hit, right? It's Avatar. True. It is true.
I do think George tried harder with Episode 3 because, especially during the purging sequence, we get some absolutely beautiful.
Oh, there's a lot to talk. Well, that's why I consider this film the transitional film, because I feel like that's where we're really heading, is where he really is rubbing his hands together. George is Episode 3. And that's where it all goes down. That's where the stakes are the highest. That's where everything matters. And I feel like this is a function of, all right, I've just got to lay enough seeds to get us to there.
Gross.
Let's do this, let's do that, and then just get on to where we need to get on to. So, Hayden Christensen, great choice as an actor. Unfortunately, was dealt. The thing is, I don't hate the idea of the kid being a psychopath.
No.
I don't hate the idea of him being a creep. I hate the idea that she fell in love with him, because who would fall in love with him based on who he was? But you fall in love with this dude when he comes back to you and tells you one of the great, by the way, one of the great musical moments and scenes in this film too, we've forgotten to talk about, is him finding his mum.
Yes.
With the sand people. And the moment she dies and that music building up. The fact that I'm gonna flip my lid music, and then he goes out there and slays.
I'm going to put this out there. Hayden Christensen does his best acting in this movie when he's not talking. I am not insulting him when I say that. I'm insulting George Lucas. Because whenever he's holding his mom and his eyes cut up like that.
Yeah.
And it's the "I'm going to kill you" look. And then in Episode 3, there's another sequence that I will talk about whenever we go to that movie, where there's no dialogue, but you can see the talent. You can see he has talent. So anybody who says Hayden Christensen is a bad actor, no. You know what? Doesn't matter if you have 20 Oscars on your belt. It doesn't matter if you are considered the best actor in the history of anything ever. Christopher Lee had cringe dialogue in this movie that made him look like a bad actor.
True.
It looks like this cannot be decided through the Force. We will have to use our sabers. You can see him dying on the inside.
He hated, like, in that moment where I wish that scene had gone on. Like, that's the macabre side of me. I wanted to see him slay all those.
Yeah.
And the women and the children. And then we get to that scene, and it's a long way around why I also think it doesn't work, is him complaining, him telling Padmé about how he found his mother and he killed everybody. Right? And yet we still have to buy that she fell in love with him after that. So someone comes to you, Jason, that he's kind of being a bit creepy, a bit stalkery. They tell you they killed 100 different species. Well, they killed a lot of people, and yet you still fall in love with that person.
Well,
It doesn't work.
Maybe Padmé is a bit of a freak. Maybe she's not into him at that point, but then he's like, and I killed him. I killed all the women and the children, everyone. She's like,
Yeah. I was out until you said you killed children. Now I'm in.
Tell me more, Anakin. Tatooine's hot, isn't it?
It's odd. It's odd.
Is that an oil bath over there?
Here's the other thing, is how corrupt the Jedi Order is, because they would know. They know that happened because we cut to a scene later where the echoes of Qui-Gon going, "No, Anakin, no!" And it's that audio is laid over Yoda and Mace Windu sitting down and having a chat scene.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, they're aware. They know something has happened. And Yoda's like, great pain, great pain. Don't you have a duty of care to go, well, like, I don't know what he's in pain for, but we've got to get him out of that situation. At a baseline level, you think your duty of care would be to get one of your soldiers and get them out of that situation, but you don't. And the worst part is you know what's happened. There's absolutely, you know what's happened. You know he's murdered a lot of people. And the Jedi Order goes, yeah, we're not going to deal with that. I think we'll just let that one slide. That's a bit in the too hard basket.
You know, quite honestly, everybody raves about Mace Windu. He's awesome. He's great. But if you really watch this movie, he's kind of stupid.
He is. He's kind of stupid in the next one too. I'll talk about that as well.
He is 40 times as stupid in the next one.
Yeah. Mace Windu, it's unfortunate because you got such an amazing performer. Mm-hmm. And you really take what's amazing about that performer and you strip it out of this character. So he never gets to play to his strengths in these movies, Samuel L. Jackson.
He never gets to say MF, not even once. They should have let him just say it.
I always feel... Yeah. I know. His lightsaber had got engraved with it, didn't it?
Yeah, it said...
yeah.
I don't think it actually said it. I think that George had it emblazoned with BMF, which we all know what it is.
Do we know what that is? You know, I always feel that the best performance of Mace Windu hasn't happened yet, because we want the crazy old surviving, almost homeless man on the streets of Coruscant. That's Mace Windu. That's what we want. We want his redemption story.
Yes,
you give us Obi-Wan, let us see Mace Windu's.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be big. It can be done in like a little half hour. Get Samuel Jackson wants to come back and do it.
He wants to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to leave Coruscant. He can just be a homeless man, and the Empire is getting ready to like wipe people out in this neighborhood because they have to repurpose it. Samuel Jackson, the one-armed Jedi, comes out of hiding to stand up with them, and he fights off everybody to let the people get away. And then at the end, you just hear. And he knows he's screwed. But he stands his ground.
That'd be amazing. And we talked about this in the last
Am I a master now, Mace? Do I look like a master now?
MF, I don't even know who you are.
But we mentioned in the last episode that these hour-long specials is what Lucasfilm needs to do. You need to take these characters, give them an hour-long special, and let's just start like. You're making all this content. Start making content that fans want to see. We want to see what happened to Mace. We want to see what's happening.
Dave, listen to us, Dave.
He's the boss now.
Dave,
Dave's the boss coming up.
know you want to do it.
Well,
Tales of Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader wraps up all these storylines. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Episode 1, Mace Windu. Episode 2, Jar Jar Binks. Episode 3, I don't know, the Twi'lek girl. Why not?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know something interesting about the idea of the clones in this movie? That even though it's mentioned barely in the original trilogy about the clones, but apparently George had an initial idea that Lando Calrissian in Empire Strikes Back was supposed to be a clone.
Really?
He was initially designed to be a clone, part of a clone army.
That would have been interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. So really, even though they all look like Tamira Morrison, in reality, they all should be looking like that fine. Yes.
Okay, so I wish this would have happened. Because that means whenever George Lucas gave us the special editions and dubbed over the original voice of Boba Fett, it would have been Darth Vader. He's no good to me dead.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah,
We would have loved it.
in the cargo hold with my Colt 45. That would have been amazing. Any excuse to get more Billy D. Williams into a franchise would have been great.
But yes, that is very true. That initially Landau himself was supposed to be a clone, which would have been so it is incredible. You can say what you like when you think, oh yeah, he just makes his stuff up in a minute. But even if that was the original design, he realized clones at some point in the Star Wars story is really important. The fact of the matter is that he gets to tell it, and then we as fans turn around and go, we don't like that story. That's the kind
Do it better, George.
Okay, well, I'll change the movie.
No, don't change the movies. That's sacrilege, George. We're fans and we don't know what we want. Give us an Obi-Wan series.
Okay, here you go.
No, not like that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk about a scene that we get a payoff in one of the great payoffs in episode 3. But in this scene, in this movie, is very sweet. Is the younglings. The scene with the younglings looking for the planet.
You called it a payoff.
Yeah, the payoff is awesome in episode 3. Yeah, it is a payoff because, what happened to those kids?
Oh my God. Okay, I've been shook.
That's how dark.
No, I do like the scene with Yoda and the younglings, and I know that the nerds are just like,
stupid. That's dumb. It's dumb.
Okay, no. It was great because you got to see Yoda as a teacher, and you get to see him being tender, and you get to see him having a sense of humor.
Lost a planet Obi-Wan has. Oh, quite. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah,
I love that. I love Caddy Yoda. Great.
And it's also a great moment because it's the idea of the fact that it's a youngling that says, well, someone's deleted it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that.
Outsmarted by a child you were. You're going to go far, Timmy, I think.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, duck and cover, Timmy. Stay behind the couch.
Oh, boy. I mean, the thing that, and we'll talk about it next movie, but the thing that he goes, okay, I've got this scene. It's a beautiful scene. Hold my beer because I've got another idea. Then the next movie is just outstanding that he goes that place. But we'll talk about that in the next one.
I got so much to talk about.
Oh, we do.
And I like that scene. I actually do. I'm not like, oh, kids get to be killed. No, I like that George Lucas said, yeah, you know what? This is what happened. But there's so many things about that scene that I have to point out that I think are just great.
Well, okay. Released May 12th, 2002, it was. It had a budget, which if you think about it now, it's quite a small budget, considering $115 million.
That's nothing. That was the catering budget on Avatar.
Well, something like Iron Man, which was only made a few years later, was close to $100 million. And no offense to Iron Man, which I freaking love Iron Man, but visually speaking, you know, and that's when they could get Robert Downey really cheap too. So it wasn't even that. So made for $115 million. It ends up making $653 million at the box office, which absolutely is a success, but a significant drop in box office from the previous film.
Didn't have the staying power because it was
It
was a boring movie.
And that's saying a lot. You've said boring, but in the pantheon, I think, of general consensus with these films, we all look upon episode 1 as being the boring one. But I think you're right.
No, it's this one.
At no point in episode 1 does the film stop dead, yet there are several moments in episode 2 that the film does stop dead. And look, it has to absolutely do with romance. I mean, to be honest with you, I was already out of my seat, ready to walk out the cinema the moment that last scene played where they're getting married on Naboo.
Yeah.
Because that thing stretches out for a minute. I'm like, I get it. I don't need this. I don't care. Like, I'm out at that point. You know what I mean? But there is one thing I do like about the scene, knowing that C-3PO's there. Because all the knowledge this guy has, and just knowing it sooner or later, it's just that throwaway line of wipe the memories.
Yeah.
And the significance, what that really means in the end of wiping the memory.
You know what I would have loved to have seen, and we're going to jump all the way forward just very briefly to The Rise of Skywalker, a movie I absolutely despise. Whenever they erase C-3PO's memories to let the Sith pop in and then R2-D2 restores them later, I wanted to see C-3PO go, oh, did you know Anakin and Padmé got married?
Darth Vader is my father? That's what he said. No! That's what should have happened. He should have done a no.
It's not true. It can't be.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay. I would not have even been mad. I would have been laughing so hard. I've been like, you know what? Forget it. This movie is not complete trash just because of this one scene.
Can I throw one more tidbit of trivia to you about this?
Oh, for God's sakes, yes, fine, whatever.
But you're going to love this one. Do you know one of the designers of Zam Weasel? Right? When he was involved in the Zam Weasel, which was the shapeshifter.
Oh, yeah.
Of the movie.
It's a changeling. It's a bad guy. Oh, he's dead.
Was also the inspiration for Double Trouble in She-Ra and the Princess of Power. So the same person that worked as a production designer also designed Double Trouble and was inspired by that character.
I will say that if Zam Weasel had the personality of Double Trouble, that would have been a much more fun. Don't touch me. Oh, my God. I don't even know where you've been, okay? I know I'm shot. I'm bleeding everywhere, but don't I still look amazing?
So I'd only read that today about that, and that was like, that threw me for a mile because I'm sitting back thinking about Double Trouble going, I don't see the correlation there, but hey, if that's the case, then...
Hey, go down to the bar and get me some death sticks, okay? I'm dying here.
Oh,
dying. It only hurts when I laugh. Ow.
Double Trouble should be absolutely. She would have been hooked on death sticks. There's no doubt about it.
They totally would have been. They, not she. They.
Yes, they. Apologies for that. Do know that? Do know who the death stick dealer is? Of course,
I have heard it before, but now I've gone completely blank. Who was
he? Is Mouse from The Matrix.
Oh, that's right. I barely.
Yes,
but that's cool. That's cool.
Yes.
I mean, hey, would you like to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and think about your life. I should go home and think of my life. That was a really funny scene too.
So it was cartoonist and animation producer N.D. Stevenson who spoke about his affinity for Weasel and how he put a lot of that into Double Trouble. I think I'm going to have to go back to watch She-Ra, the Princess of Power.
Do it quick before Netflix takes it off, because they're taking it off, and they don't even have the complete series on DVD.
Yeah, I don't understand what happens there. What happens then with that content? See, this is the problem with that. It just goes. We have no power. We have no ownership over it. We just lose it.
Yeah, I would. I immediately, whenever I heard they were taking it off Netflix, I immediately went to Amazon to go buy the entire series.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's like season 1 through 3, and then after that, F you.
Yeah, well,
And I'm angry about that because it's such a quality series, and I'm afraid that people who haven't experienced it now won't because they don't have a way to.
Yeah. Look, it's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And a brilliant show, which they should be putting back on a pedestal, pushing it to the front because of, the world of Motu is back in a big bad way. But anyway,
DreamWorks, sell it back to Mattel. If you're not going to do anything with it, let them do something with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there were a few jerks in this film too, obviously, that don't die in this film. So Count Dooku at the end of this film he just walks away.
Yeah, after getting off that really cool sailing ship, that was
pretty nice. It reminded me of the Tron ship, didn't it?
It reminded me of the Tron ship and the sailing ship from Deep Space Nine.
Yes, they're all kind of related in a way. So he goes home to go see good old Daddy Sidious.
Yeah.
Count Dooku, give Daddy a kiss. Okay, what have you got for me?
And it's a bit of a downgrade in a way, like, oh, my superstar, like young, fit Darth Maul character who's my apprentice. He's dead, so let's replace him with a 75-year-old man. That's my next apprentice.
Well, Palpatine probably had like 2 or 3 assistants in the background. Like, yo, Dooku, you're up. Bill, stay there.
So the aging of Palpatine in this film, right? Because this is 10 years after Episode 1. And Episode 1, Palpatine's looking, maybe mid-40s, maybe. Man, the last 10 years has been rough on old Palpatine. Papa Palpatine aged a lot.
Some people don't age quite as well. I mean, they're roughly the same age, and I hate to say
I've looked the same way since 7, so yeah, it's Australia. What could you say? Either way, he does. He ages quite a bit serious in this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, is it his hate building up?
Yes, it's hate.
Yes, that makes him age more.
His hate has made him powerful, but it's also giving him wrinkles.
Yes, that's right. So I'm just wondering if that was the case, but yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just spending too much time in the Australian sun. Who knows?
Maybe. All right, to wrap up this film, yes, it's not the strongest of the Star Wars film. There are some things that I think are redeeming about the film. I would say the Clone Wars, the series, is definitely born from this movie. Certainly his idea to do something animated in that space absolutely has its origins here, which is great because we do get some wonderful payoff with clone troopers in the animation world later on. Maybe not theatrically, but certainly on television we get a good payoff. And Jace, how do they stay part of this crazy, insane little exercise that we're doing here at the VHS Vault? How do they stay involved out there?
Donate, you should. Joe, Patreon, you should go to. $5 a month, all it is. Exclusive content just for you. It's hard to talk like this right off the cuff. It's hard to improv Yoda speak. You would think you would think it would be, but not. It is.
My God, I'm not going to do that again. $5 a month. We want your money. Please give us your money. Your money will not only go towards these shows, but it will also motivate us because we are very profit motivated. And I say profit like we're actually making money off this thing. We are not. we are totally not.
We would like to, but
I would love to.
Yes. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time on the VHS Vault.